Hi there, my name is Megan Vanderplug and I'm a pediatric speech therapist at Hummingbird Pediatric Therapies. I'm so glad you've joined me today. As a speech therapist, I work with children who have a variety of language and communication challenges. Today, I'm going to share some practical tips that you can use at home to support your child if they have receptive expressive language delays or disorders. Whether your child is struggling to understand language, express their thoughts, or communicate socially, there are simple strategies you can use to help them thrive. I'm excited to walk you through 5 key tips. First, let's talk about receptive language. Receptive language refers to how well your child understands what others are saying to them. It's a crucial skill that lays the foundation for all communication, including expressing yourself and socializing with others. Create opportunities for listening and responding. You can support your child's receptive language by engaging in activities that encourage them to listen carefully and respond. No matter the age, literacy activities are always a great place to start. Remember that, because I will reference that when we discuss expressive language as well. When we think of literacy activities, make sure to pick books that are appropriate and of interest to your child. Think about interests that they have. Do they love cars? Pick a book about cars. Are they a sensory seeker? Pick touch and feel books. Do they love songs? Pick a book that involves nursery rhymes. Don't think so much about age, but more their skill level and what gets them excited. When reading books to and with your child, highlight key vocabulary words. If your child is not yet using words, think of highlighting sound effects, car sounds, animal sounds, exclamations. To support their receptive language, you can ask them where certain words are in the pictures. If they don't respond, show them how to point. If they will let you, help them point. As they get older, you can think about asking them more challenging who, what, where, when, why questions with reading. Literacy is not the only way to support receptive language growth. Another great place to start is in your daily routines. As children develop, we want to make sure they are understanding commands or directions. Start simple. Think about your routines that are familiar to them. Diaper changes, brushing teeth, putting on shoes, getting their coats on. You can start by asking them to get their diaper. Bring me your toothbrush. Even as simple as give me blank. If they have a hard time understanding, show them using a visual cue, like pointing. If after showing them it is still difficult, you can help them by guiding them with your hands through the task. Once they start to get the hang of simple one-step commands, not needing gestures to understand, you can move on to prompting them to follow two-step commands. For example, go get your shoes and then sit by me. The same rule follows. If they do not understand, first, show them. And then if they still don't understand, you can help them. Now let's move on to expressive language. This is all about how your child uses words or other forms of communication to express their thoughts, needs, or feelings. Model and expand on your child's language. One of the best ways to encourage expressive language is by modeling it yourself. You want to think about the level your child is at. Imitation is key for this stage of language development. If your child is not yet imitating words or sounds, think about getting your child to imitate your motor movements, like waving or clapping. You can also model baby signs, like more or all done. If your child is not yet using words, consider modeling shorter phrases, one word at a time, or even sound effects or exclamations. This does not mean that you have to model incomplete grammar or use baby talk, but by keeping your models simpler for your child, they are more likely to imitate you. If your child says car, for instance, you can expand on that by saying, yes, that's a red car, or the car is going fast. By adding just a little bit more to what they say, you're helping them to expand their vocabulary and sentence structure. Please know, all children communicate differently. Some of our children benefit from alternative means of communication, like gestures or a talking device, due to the different needs that they have. Another way to encourage expressive language is through play. Play is a natural way for kids to express themselves, and it often brings out their creativity. Play with your child and talk through the activities. Whether it's building with blocks, playing with dolls, or making art together, be sure to comment on what's happening. This gives them the language they need to talk about the world around them. While we want you to comment on what's happening, I want you to think about avoiding narrating your child's life. If your child is playing and in their own world, your narrations are going to fall flat. There are certain pre-linguistic skills that are important to support both receptive and expressive language development. One being imitation, which I mentioned earlier. Another is joint attention, which is when two people focus on the same thing at the same time. If your child is not demonstrating this skill, I want you to focus on finding that interaction before you worry about getting your child to say words. Next, we'll talk about social communication. Social communication is how children learn to interact with others, how they take turns, maybe make eye contact, and engage in conversations. Use structured play to practice social skills. While it is wonderful and important for your child to develop independent play skills, it is just as important for them to develop play skills with others. I recommend incorporating structured activities that involve taking turns in social exchanges. Again, think of your children's skills and abilities rather than their age. Maybe you can start with a simple back and forth of peekaboo, or your child might enjoy passing a ball back and forth. If your child is more of a mover, play tag or hide and seek could be a great place to start. What's important is that you are finding connection and engagement with your child. Be willing to get on the floor and find your inner child. Be sure to provide lots of praise when your child makes an effort to engage socially. Positive reinforcement helps them feel confident and motivated to keep practicing these skills. Now, let's talk about AAC, or Augmentative and Alternative Communication. AAC is a tool used to help children who have difficulty speaking verbally. It can include things like communication boards, picture exchange systems, or even electronic devices that help them express themselves. Introduce AAC as a tool for communication, not as a replacement. AAC is not a bad thing. It's not something that stops your child from developing speech. In fact, it can promote communication. Using AAC supports your child in expressing their needs and thoughts, which can actually reduce frustration and help them engage more in social interactions. For example, you can start by using picture cards or apps on a tablet that help your child point to things they need or want. It's about giving your child a way to communicate when verbal language is still a challenge. Be sure to model how to use AAC as a part of daily activities. If your child is using a picture board, show them how to use it during snack time or when they're trying to tell you something. By modeling, you show them how to use the tool in real-life situations. Lastly, let's talk about supporting bilingual communication in the home. If your family speaks more than one language, you might wonder how to best support your child's language development. Use both languages consistently and naturally. Research shows that children can successfully learn 2 or more languages at the same time, but the key is consistency. While some might tell you otherwise, it is okay for you to code switch or switch between languages in the same sentence. If this is how your family communicates, it is okay to model that to your child. Just know they will probably do the same thing as well. Keep in mind that language development might look different in bilingual children, and that's okay. They may take longer to speak in each language at first, but they're learning 2 systems simultaneously. Be patient and continue to engage them in both languages. Singing songs, reading bilingual books, and playing games are excellent ways to expose them to both languages in fun, meaningful ways. I hope you found these tips helpful. To recap, we talked about ways to support receptive language, expressive language, social communication, AAC use, and bilingual language development, all in ways that you can easily implement at home. As a parent, you're your child's first teacher, and even small changes in how you interact with them can make a big difference. If you ever feel unsure or need more personalized guidance, don't hesitate to reach out to a speech therapist. They're here to support you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Megan Vanderplug from Hummingbird Pediatric Therapies, and I wish you the best as you support your child's communication journey.